Do you want to wear a watch and are you struggling to find out the exact right watch to wear? Well, I'm going to tell you not just how to pick a watch that you think looks nice, I'm going to show you how to pick the watch that will convey your status and make everybody else know that you are the big boss. When you walk in and you sit there with your chest out and you have your big ass watch, everybody's going to know you are the boss. You're going to take a look at it and say, okay, now we know we're dealing with a serious man. I'm going to show you, I have tons of watches. These are just a few of them that I have. This one is a rubber strap, a Russian watch. This is the one that's just a cheap army watch, and this is my stainless steel, my baby. So when you're going to wear a watch, you need to ask yourself a single question. Why? Okay, because I need you to understand, if you're going out to the beach and you're going to be wearing slip-slops and a tank top looking like a disheveled old beggar, well, I promise you that if you wear a watch, it's not going to help you. You've got to understand why you are wearing a watch. I understand that I'm going to be wearing formal clothing, and the watch is a simple way that I can elevate myself. For example, take a businessman in a suit. He has a jacket, he has that fancy pinstripe jacket, fancy crocodile leather shoes, he walks in, but he hasn't got a watch. So maybe that suit could have been bought at the Chinese market or at second hand, but you don't know if he's actually a billionaire until you look at his watch. One of the simplest ways that you can tell how wealthy a person is by what watch they wear. I want you to take a good look at this watch, and I want you to take a good look at this watch. If you see a man walking down the road wearing this watch, you think, nah, this guy's just a random guy, he probably earns 9 to 5, probably maybe he's working at a greengrocer, or maybe he's a waiter. He doesn't earn that much money, he has a cheap army watch. But you see a guy walking around with this watch or this watch, you say, that guy, and you know, that guy, doesn't matter what he wears, because you can see he's got a watch. If a bloke walks into your office, and you can see he sits down there and he's wearing a Rolex, you don't even care what he wears because you can see what he wears. So this is how to wear a watch and how to find the right one. Now there are very many watches, there are tons, but the first step in understanding how to pick a nice watch is understanding how big your wrist is. I've got a big wrist, so I'm able to put a nice big watch on my wrist and it looks fine. But if I take this massive army watch, I'm going to put it on for you now on this other wrist, you can see that it's a bit big for the wrist and doesn't fit nicely. Can you see how big that is on the wrist compared to something like this or compared to something like this? So firstly, you've got to understand your wrist size. Once you know your wrist size, then you're able to go and look at all the lug to lug and all these I don't care about the diameters and the scientific measurements and this material, that material. It's got to look good on you. And also it can't look cheap. There's a concept that you need to understand quickly, and I'm going to tell you, it's called a fashion watch. Now maybe you've seen brands like Daniel Wellington, or maybe you've seen other brands where it looks really cheap. In our country, here in South Africa, we have lots of brands like Tempo and Police and Fossil. And these brands are cheap Chinese watches. They're basically buying watches on Temu, stepping on a logo and saying, here, pay us $100, $200 for a rubbish watch. You need to avoid fashion watches at all costs. If you want to get a watch and you don't have much money, go for a brand like Seiko. Because at least you know they're going to be using genuine stainless steel, good movements, good things, and it's going to look nice. Can you see this watch? Obviously, you don't know what brand it is. I don't even know what brand it is, but it's really good, and it was a good price. Obviously, it's worth spending more on the watch, but if you're looking for an entry-level one, get a Seiko. Now, the next thing that you can do when it comes to looking for a watch is looking at materials. So yes, you don't want to buy a fashion watch, but even if you're desperate and the only thing you can afford is a fashion watch, well, maybe look at the materials instead. You know, there are so many second-hand shops that sell watches. People don't wear watches like they used to, just like people don't wear suits. I have lots of tweed jackets, wool jackets, polyester, linen jackets, just because people don't wear them anymore. And I can get them at a good price. So you should check out every single second-hand shop, every local thrift shop, if you can't afford it, and get a watch. Do whatever you can to get a watch. And take a note of the material. Now I'm going to tell you different materials based on all these watches. The most simple, basic material is stainless steel. Which means that on your watch, it's going to just look shiny and it's going to look nice like silver. That's the most basic of basic materials. Yes, it gets more complicated where you can get brushed or polished, but the difference is that brushed looks very rough, like you've taken sandpaper on the stainless steel, and polished looks shiny like a mirror. So we have stainless steel. Then we have rubber. Now a rubber strap is something you can wear in the summer. Remember I said way back in the beginning, it doesn't matter no matter how good your watch is because you need to know how to dress. And you shouldn't just wear a fancy Rolex with a cheap pair of, let's say, some sort of vest and shorts when you're going on to the beach. But if you are going to go out in the summer or you're going to go swimming, a rubber watch is perfect because rubber doesn't corrode. Rubber doesn't, store the salt in it, doesn't erode like that. Stainless steel could get damaged with the salt water or with chlorine in a pool. Rubber is what you need if you want to keep cool in the summer. And the third one I don't have a watch right now on me is a leather strap. Now, when do you wear leather? I see most people getting this wrong. They're wearing their leather watch when they were just wearing their normal shirts and t-shirt. No. Stainless steel and rubber, fine. Wear it when you're out on the beach, wear it when it's hot in summer, wear it whenever you like. But when it comes to leather, here's a rule. We only wear leather when we wear suits. I want to repeat that. Only wear leather when we wear suits. So I want you to pay attention. Every single time I record and I share information with you, I'm always either wearing a suit or wearing something formal. When I've got my jacket on, you need to pay attention to the fact that I will always be wearing a leather watch. Of course a watch, but almost always a leather watch. Because leather symbolizes superiority. Leather symbolizes that you are formal and that you take care of yourself. But here's a little caveat. There is a time and a place to not wear a watch. It's always good to wear a watch. It shows that you've got extra money for certain things which are frivolous and unimportant, but it also makes you seem larger than life and important like that. But there's a time when you don't wear a watch. For example, if you have a fancy wedding coming up, if you have a function, if you have somebody's celebration, if you have some sort of gala or dinner, never wear a watch. I want you to take a think, why? Why do you not wear a watch when it's your friend's wedding? Well, I'll tell you. It's because if you wear a watch, it means that you're looking at the time. I've got 4 watches here and a time on the computer because I've got things to do and I'm busy and I'm filming and doing everything I need to do. But when it comes to a friend's wedding or a gala or a dinner when I go to them, you're going to find that most people don't wear a watch, and you shouldn't. It's a mistake. So there are times to wear a watch, times to not wear a watch. And I want to leave you with a few more points, a few more questions. Okay, assume that you have no fancy clothes, but all you start doing is wearing a watch. What do you think is the situation that's going to unfold from that? Who's more likely? A disheveled old beggar who never wears a watch and has dirty clothing? Unfortunate, yes, but it's just the reality. He's dirty and he doesn't have any clothes. Or a person who's also dirty, doesn't have any clothes, but they start while wearing a watch. I promise you, that same beggar person, that same beggar, and no offense to the beggar, I'm actually giving him some advice so he can improve his life. That same beggar can stop by wearing a watch, and then he might realize, I don't want to wear dirty clothes anymore. I respect myself and I value my time. Let me go and get a suit. Even if it's at the second-hand shop, he can take his money that he's begged for, that he's worked hard for, and stood outside on the side of the road in the boiling hot sun to get the money, and he can go there to the second-hand shop and start wearing a suit. Next thing, he gets a job. Now he earns money. From that, he's able to get an apartment. Then he gets a wife. He has lots of children, which is beautiful. And just because he started wearing a watch, he's fixed his life. You could start like that beggar. That beggar's probably in a worse position than you or me combined. And that beggar just started by wearing a watch. And next thing, his life improved. It really is that simple. You start by wearing a watch, you dress better, so you speak better, so you get a job, so you earn money, so you can move out, so you get more independence, so that you can afford more food, so that you can eat protein, so you can go to gyms, so you can get bigger, so you can get stronger. So then it reinforces everything. Now you can buy books, so you can get information. Then you can fly around the world and get more opportunities. And just everything starts to amalgamate into one melting pot that you become a freaking legend just because you started wearing a watch. So I want you to think about which thing that you can put into action today. Is it going to be you're going to get a leather watch, a vintage second-hand watch, or you're going to go to the shop and buy something new? Are you going to get a stainless steel one, a rubber one, or a leather one? And are you going to start wearing suits from now on? What are you going to do? But the most important thing is to start by wearing a watch. And this is exactly how watches are made, what makes a good watch, and why you better start wearing one today. Watch. Timer.